Boom chakalaka. A little goat juice. Cool. So let's talk about how AI made me dumb. I've been relying on AI heavily for probably the last, 6 months. I would say about 7 months or so. It's been doing pretty much all of my script writing. It's been doing all of my video editing. It's been doing all my creative. It's been doing like my fast work, right? So today we live in this type of a world where, and I'll show you like some of this stuff. Like I'll put on my metas and we'll get to work and we'll do some cool stuff here. I'll show you on my screen sort of what we got going on. But the idea here is, when AI was introduced, obviously ChatGPT was the first introduction of it, and I started using it day one, and it was like, man, this thing is a cool search tool. It wasn't like a whole lot of anything really happening, right? It was just like, hey, this is a cool thing, and I'm doing a lot of search stuff, and we're doing things and whatever. In fact, if I go and pull some of my old ChatGPT logs, I'm just going to go to like something from like way back in the day. Like, let's see, business owner self-audit. I don't even know what this is. Help me write an Instagram post centered around the questions that every business owner needs to ask themselves, blah, blah, blah. And it just gave me this spewing of here's what you need to do and here's what you need to say. And that was the beginning of it. The first real world use that I started to use it for was I was spending about 6 to 7, maybe 6, 7, about 8 hours writing YouTube scripts for one of my clients. And I sat there and I told myself, there's got to be a better way. So if I were to go and search this, like search chats, YouTube scripts, let me see if I can find it. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. YouTube scripts. Yeah, cool. So I'll transfer over to the metas. So if I look at this and I look at, okay, let's do this batch. And then, this was everything that I used to do by hand. And now it would write essentially all I would do is I would feed it the titles, the topics, and then it would go and it would create the intro and the why stay. And it would create, a short answer, and it would give me the hooks. And then it would give me the call to action. The only thing is that every single time that I put it in there was a different variation. So I had to keep adding to it. I had to keep adding to it and refining it. And eventually it got to the point where it was really good. It was referencing in, some of the resources that I had given it. And then it got to the point where I could just say, here's 20 topics, and it would just write me this 40-page document of all of the YouTube scripts for this client. And then I would just go and, he still had to sit and record and audit and, check off the boxes. And that was the start of it. And then obviously when, new models came about and then Claude came out, Claude now became this really good workhorse. And it was different because not only was it creating the script, it was actually producing the document. It was giving you the Word doc. It was giving you the Excel document. And you were downloading that and using that moving forward. So it got to the point where I relied so heavily on it to just do the work. Where it really got me stuck is somebody had asked me to design a flyer for an event, and they had a logo in mind. So I went to ChatGPT, and I think I even have it here. Watch, I'm gonna search for this, and I'll show you guys search chats. I think that's like a Cinco de Mayo event, and I'm gonna see if I can find this. Oh, it was for the Taco Fest. Here, I'll show you right now. I'll switch over. So here was a background, and then here's a little bit of a logo. And where it got stuck is obviously AI content, AI logos isn't meant to be for print, or isn't meant to be, it's just meant for use, and it all looks the same. And I needed this logo to be transmitted into a vector file for printing. Those of you that are graphic designers, you know this. If you're going to print a banner, you need to have at least, minimum 300 DPI dots per inch, 600 DPI, to have really crisp, clean lines. And if you do vector files, then everything's clean and crispy. This is what you would use Illustrator, for, or Publisher, if you still use Publisher. And I got to that that stage where I'm like, man, I can't use this for anything, and I can't go into Canva and do anything with it. So I have to go back to Illustrator. So I was struggling with like, I can't do this quick and I can't do this now. And I had to go back and slow roll. I had to go back into Illustrator, and I had to go back and just create this thing from scratch again. And that's when I felt the uselessness of my brain and my hands. I was trying to draw, and I was trying to design this flyer from scratch with Illustrator, and I had to go back and relearn the system. I had to go back and relearn the things. And what that taught me was, I mean, AI is great for some things. You know, Claude is now connected to Descript, and you can use it for video editing and jump cuts. But you still have to put your hands in there. Like, I had to go to Final Cut. I had to go back to Premiere and start doing some of these edits again. And even some of the apps that are out are really good right now. What I'm finding is AI is great for some things. However, it atrophies your skill sets. I was relying so heavily on it, and came to find that, man, I need to go back to doing the basics. I need to go back to, you know, doing the pen and paper, and, you know, taking some notes so I can get my brain to get back into the habit of, what are you going to do today? How are you going to do this and do that? And I mean, I feel like it's the big reset right now, because not only is AI doing amazing things for you and helping you be fast and cutting edge. However, sometimes I'm looking at it, it's like, whoa, you got to take a step back, and you got to just, you know, keep some of the analog things. It's interesting, analog, and disconnect from it, and maybe just turn your phone off every now and then. So my experience of doing a big doing a big reset myself to still leverage AI, still use AI to create, but AI made me dumb, and I'm working it back in again. So for those of you that are out there using it, find a way, a system that you can still obviously use it every day, leverage it for what you need, but then also don't let your skill sets wither away by relying on it and trusting it. Use your skill sets to amplify it. Those of you that are using it, it's amplifying your output, your skill sets, amplifying your results, but don't let it become this cookie cutter, you know, rinse and repeat type of a thing. Really use it to make something great. And for me personally right now, I'm going through this big reset of, I'm turning 42, and, you know, I've been doing these big client contracts, and I'm kind of back to the drawing board of, you know, being back and doing what I'm good at with the marketing, and doing graphic design again, and doing some other things, and finding what I want to keep and what I want to do and what I don't want. So I appreciate you guys listening. If this conversation resonated with y'all, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I'll be sharing more videos of my experiences, how I use AI. I'm a digital marketer, creative content expert, and I've been doing this for close to 20 years. So I hope to bring some of my expertise to you all out here, and I hope you can learn from me and what I do, and maybe I'll even help some of y'all in your businesses. So until the next video, we'll see you then.